Howdy folks, I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. If you hear some thunder in the background, it's because it's thundering out. We are getting a little bit of a thunderstorm here, but it seems to have calmed down a smidge, so yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Also means if I lose power, then that's gonna be unfun. So let's get started. Our first letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for posting a picture of my baby?" I'm a 28-year-old female, and my ex-husband, a 29-year-old male, Ben, got divorced at the beginning of last year. After we got divorced, I found out I was pregnant. I decided to keep the baby, and in November of last year, my son Christopher was born. Chris lives with me Sunday through Friday, and on Saturdays, he stays with Ben. My husband's new fiancée, Genevieve, yes with a J, is acting like Chris is her son. She is trying to teach Chris to call her mommy, even though that's what he calls me. She criticizes my purchase in baby products and calls me cheap, and even tells me that she should have part custody even though she and Ben aren't even married. What pushed me too far is when I posted a picture of my baby. Genevieve had the audacity to tell me that I can't take a picture of my baby without her permission. I gave birth to the baby and I take care of him for the most of the week. The worst part is that she posts pictures of the baby, and when she does, she makes it seem like he is her son. After this instance, I couldn't handle her anymore. I gave her and Ben an ultimatum about how she was treating Chris like he's her son when he only sees her once a week and she isn't even officially his stepmom. Ben said I'm being a jerk, and Jen is just being nice. Am I the jerk? Alright, OP, you know what would be really nice in this situation? A restraining order. Genevieve here is going way too far. This is not normal, and this is not healthy. If she thinks that she can boss you around about your own child, and you have to consult her about pictures that you post, this sounds like a kidnapping waiting to happen. I don't know. What do you folks think? Do you think I'm being a little harsh here on Genevieve, or do you think this sounds a little sketchy?
Sounds sketchy.
Amber says it sounds sketch. Not the jerk, I would also check your state laws on parental alienation. It's one thing to want to love the child of your partner/spouse. It's another to pretend to be the mom when the mom is in the picture and you are the main caretaker. Not to mention to contact all social media sites and report all photos for unsolicited pictures of a minor. As OP is Chris's parent, she can legally request for them to be taken down. This, and find a family lawyer and immediately start documenting everything she's doing. Do not communicate directly with her or your ex anymore. Do it all through text, email, or voicemail, so you have a record of what was said. Do not let her get away with any of this. Not the jerk. Our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for greatly increasing my husband's chores and dismissing his complaints after he called me a homemaker?" Context, I work in my own startup. Husband John works in a movie theater. Before I started the company, we both had similar incomes, but now I earn around 5 times as much as him. The chore dynamic at home was always heavily skewed. I'm very neat and like cooking, so I handled the lion's shares of the chores on top of my job. After the company started growing, John invested himself more in chores because he was staying at home due to the movie theaters being closed. His workplace reopened a few months ago and he immediately stopped doing most chores. I have been lenient and doing more than my share, since he comes home every day exhausted and complaining. After work, he does nothing but leisure, totally overlooking the fact that I manage our household on top of running my company. I'm kind of a doormat sometimes, so I let it go because I want to be kind to John. Last weekend, he crossed the line. I work 7 days a week, and John has weekends off, and he was playing video games all day while I was working, and he came to ask me when lunch would be ready. I told him that I'm very busy with work and he can cook, for once. He declined, then complained that there was so much easier in his grandfather's time when the homemaker didn't do anything other than her duties. I exploded. We had the biggest screaming match in our lives. with him calling himself the breadwinner of the household, repeatedly hiding behind the claim that he goes out to work, as opposed to me working from home, which means that I'm the housewife, huh? I steamrolled over his claims by pointing out that I earn much more money than him. I work longer hours and still do all the chores. I told him to quit his job and dedicate his time to chores, since he is so enamored with the simpler times of homemakers and breadwinners. Even if he became unemployed, our financial situation wouldn't change. He acted appalled. Monday, I gave him a chores list to do, about 2 to 3 hours of chores daily. He constantly complains and replies with, "Quit your job." I spent years doing all the chores on top of my job, but he whines at the prospect of doing just half. Tuesday night, he told me he refused to do the chores and I couldn't force him. I shouted him down into submission, telling him that I spent our entire common life picking up the balls that he kept dropping, and that his choice to work an unskilled job for pocket change does not preclude him from helping me, the breadwinner, keep the household in shape. Yesterday, I locked up his PS5 in our safe and changed the combination. This is not my nature. I'm usually polite and soft-spoken, and I feel like a jerk when I see him looking like a sad puppy and whining that he's tired. But I just snapped. I feel like I don't have a choice. If I let John do nothing and consider himself the breadwinner who deserves to come home to a clean household and a warm meal through no effort of his own, I would lock myself into a life of servitude. Am I the jerk? AOP. Maybe you should look at some divorce lawyers.
Yeah.
This is absolutely absurd. He is looking a gift horse in the mouth. Like, all he had to do was make himself lunch. That's all. And then, instead of making himself lunch, he picked at you, who is working 7 days a week, and like, oh, I wish the good old days were back, and where I could just be lazy and, come home from a hard day's worth of work and have my wife do work for me. This is ridiculous. This guy. Why? I hope John has some very, very redeeming qualities, because from this, it does not paint him in a good light. I think that John needs to grow up. And like you said, if he were to lose his job, it would do nothing to your household. In fact, it sounds like he was home the entire time that you guys were over the pandemic, and he didn't have to work, because I'm pretty sure his job wasn't paying him that entire time that he was, not working. So, OP, yeah, I don't think that you're the jerk in this situation. I think he pushed way too far. I think he betrayed your trust. And I think that he's just acting like a complete jerk. I think he kind of deserves to get a taste of his own medicine here. I mean, turnabout is fair play. What do you folks think? Oh my goodness, girl, you are most definitely not the jerk. In fact, don't you dare even take the tiniest step back. Hold your ground if your life depends on it. And OP replies, "High five, sis, heart." I'm a woman. I didn't say everyone's a jerk here because I think John is right, but because I think treating him like a child is not going to make the situation any better. John is not a 12-year-old who won't do his homework. He's a grown man who thinks his very successful wife should be working all day long, provide his lifestyle, and be his maid and cook. Locking his PS5 is not going to make him change his mind or respect his wife. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem I see in this situation is, at this point in time, nothing you do, OP, is going to make him respect you. He's shown his true colors. Not the jerk. It sounds like you've been picking up his slack for a while. How dare he make claims about you being a homemaker when you apparently are bringing in a majority of the money? Working from home is work. I doubt working at the movie theater is very lucrative. Stop picking up his slack. He is being disrespectful towards you, your job, and everything you do for your home. And OP replies, "I know, right? This is exactly the thought that sent me over the metaphorical line. The answer is that since I'm at home all day long, and I get to choose my hours, and since I'm the boss, while he is at his workplace all day, that's all he's considered. The fact that I work more hours and earn a lot more money never crossed his mind, I guess. That's also how he justified not doing the chores himself. I concluded after thinking on it a while. He did his part by doing his jobs, so he expects to come home and do nothing more, since he put in his hours. The fact that he had this unspoken belief that I'm his housewife, that really grated on my nerves like nothing else did before. Alright, our next letter is titled, very scandalously, Am I a jerk for dancing half naked in my living room, leading to my boyfriend and his family seeing me? I'm a 21-year-old female, and I was told by my boyfriend Nate, a 26-year-old male, that I would get the house to myself for the weekend. He said that he had to go visit his parents to take care of a property-related issue. I was pretty excited to have the house to myself because I have been living with Nate since I was 19 and I miss living alone, though Nate is the love of my life and in no way a trouble to live with. I had this tradition of spending a lot of my weekends baking while in my lingerie. I don't know, it made me feel pretty. Yes, I know it's stupid, but it just makes me stupid happy. With music and dancing. Super embarrassing to admit, but I also like to do silly things like pretending I'm a Victoria's Secret model or singing and I'd sing along loudly. I mention this because it means the house is usually a mess. My dresses are all over and the music is super loud, which obviously is not okay. I hadn't done that in a long time because Nate hates loud music and he's not a fan of my cupcakes, so I decided to do it this weekend. So it's Sunday and I put on What a Feeling by One Direction, and it's super loud. I'm only wearing my lingerie, the Victoria's Secret So Lacy AF, which I regret so much looking back, ugh. My boyfriend used his key to open the door and I didn't hear him come in because, like I said, it's loud in the house and I'm also in the kitchen/living room area. Apparently, he wanted to surprise me. Nate brought his mom, dad, and his sisters, 2 kids, like 10, I think. They come in and there I am, frozen in a dance pose like an idiot. I quickly ran into our room yelling, sorry, I wasn't expecting anyone, and was putting on clothes when Nate came in. He was so angry. He said I was acting like a child and that I embarrassed him. His parents wanted Nate to drop them back ASAP, refusing to stay, and his mom called me a lot of names and said the kids had seen everything and made me feel guilty. Here's why I'm losing sleep over this. On one hand, I didn't know that they would come. I locked the door so I felt like I didn't do anything wrong. I planned on cleaning up my mess before Nate came home too. Also, Nate and his mom insulted me a lot. But when you look at it from their perspective, I was behaving like an immature person. The house was a mess. I looked a mess. There were baking supplies scattered. Nate just wanted to surprise me and do something nice. Nate is still not completely talking to me. I don't know how to face his family. And I also know his sister told him to make me behave or something. So I feel like I should apologize before things get worse, but I can't decide for sure if I'm in the wrong here, so I need your help. Thank you for reading. Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk.
Amber says not the jerk. I'm inclined to agree with her. So the thing is that Nate told you that you had the house to yourself, and then he didn't even text you or anything like that. He could have still surprised you and just said, texted you and be like, I forgot something at home. I'm going to be there in 15 minutes or at some point in time. He didn't give you any kind of heads up at all. And I don't think what you did here is immature. Honestly, if you do you, this is what you enjoy doing, I don't see anything wrong here. You weren't expecting guests. You didn't do this maliciously. And these people are being stick in the muds. And okay, so 10-year-olds saw you in their lingerie. Do you think, though, that they have access to the Victoria's Secret's catalog? Or any other catalog? Or the internet, for that matter? I mean, yeah, it was probably embarrassing for you, but I seriously doubt if these kids were interested in looking up this stuff that it would have been terribly hard for them to find it. That's all I'm saying. And the fact is that you were still dressed. I mean, this was probably not any less than what you would be wearing at a beach. And surely 10-year-olds have been to the beach before. So I wouldn't really worry so much about the 10-year-old being scarred for life or anything like that. This might have been awkward, but it really was not that big of a deal. I mean, I think that they're making a bigger deal out of this than they need to. And also insulting you, completely out of line. You do not deserve to be insulted for dancing and singing and enjoying yourself in the way you enjoy yourself. That is beyond rude and uncalled for. Like the parents could have, excused themselves to take some time to collect themselves, but it wasn't a huge offense or anything like that, so I don't know why they had such a huge issue here. So yeah. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. You should never be embarrassed for dancing like an idiot to a song you like. Who cares if you were in your underwear? No one was home at the time. And giving you the silent treatment is a huge red flag. It's emotional abuse. And OP replies, thank you, I feel a bit relieved. Oh, and to be fair, it's not the silent treatment. He's talking to me, but I can tell he's still angry. What does he have to be angry about? He called her names too. That alone deserves an extreme reaction from OP. Also, I wouldn't marry into his family. Not the jerk. Nate is a total jerk here. He tells you that you will have the house to yourself and then decides to surprise you with what exactly? A visit from his family? Wow, what a great surprise. He has no right to be upset at you. You didn't know that he was going to be home. Also, he has no right to insult you. Never in a relationship should your significant other insult you. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.